Hello and welcome back to my Dandelion Diaries for a continuation of 𝗦𝘃𝗧. Officially halfway today. So exciting. Let's see what we get for day 12 of Colorverse. And let's hope that it may be, I don't know, better than Diamine again? Let's see. There must be something about bodily fluids today. Today's ink is called Blood Falls, and it says, beneath Antarctic ice, iron-rich water flows, forming a red cascade known as Blood Falls. Love the concept. Not loving the bodily fluids today. Let's just hope that it's a nice, good red color and it's not going to look too bloody. But with a name like Blood Falls, I would assume it's going to have a bit of a bloody appearance. So I guess trigger warning of the ink for today is it may look a bit like blood. So for our bloody ink today, I decided to pair it with a bloody-ish pen. This is the 𝗬𝗏 Plum Onyx, and I do have a stub nib in this one. So I'm hoping if it is a nice bloody red color, maybe we'll get some fun shading out of it. I don't know. I also want to compare this to Monday's color. Day one, Monday, I guess Monday is day one in my brain. Day one's color, Martian Dust. I do want to see how close they are together, but let's see what Blood Falls looks like today. First impression, gorgeous, wet, juicy ink. Oh my gosh. It is definitely a dark red, bloody kind of color, but it has an interesting sheen already on it. So I'm curious to see, I guess, what color the sheen looks like in a bigger swatch, but looking like it around the letters, it's kind of like a blackish green color. Bloody colored ink warning yet again before the swatch blooms. This ink is really pretty. I do think it is a nice deep blood red color, a very dark red, a very brick red. It's also very saturated. I think that's why we're getting the sheening levels that I was mentioning already with just a little bit of writing I did. I think in the full swatch we may have a pretty high sheener on our hands here. But the sheen looks to be, like I said, that kind of like greenish black color. It's not quite neon or shiny looking. It does look like it's going to be a bit more muted. So we'll see once it fully dries what happens with that. I really enjoy this color. This is my preferred red color to have if I'm going to be writing with a red. But I do feel like this ink is pretty similar to Martian Dust from day one. So when we get to comparisons, I'm definitely going to bring that one out. I like it, but I feel like we may have already gotten this ink in this calendar, and it's giving me reminiscings of the 2024 box. So let's hope this is not the start of the downfall of the Colorverse calendar. Initial thoughts on this one. I love how it wrote and behaved in my 𝗬𝗏 with a stub. I think it was a really pleasant experience, but I have to say the color of this is just reminding me so much of the first day that I can't get around it. So I went ahead and pulled out my swatch card from day one, and here is today's ink. No. Why, Colorverse? We were doing so good. We were doing so good. They are different. I will give them that, but they are so stinking close together. It's so close together. So day one's Martian Dust has a bit more of a blackish sheen, and today's Blood Falls is a bit more green. But I really feel like the base color of these two are pretty damn similar, like really similar. Ugh. Oh boy. Anyways, I like the color. I do. But I have to be honest, like it just feels like I've been wronged because I got the same color again in the same calendar. So as much as I am, I guess, bummed that it's the same color, I'm just glad it is the color that I enjoy using, so I will use both. It just feels a little cheated because it's like the same color again. You can see a little bit in the swatch here. It's still wet, but you can see some of that green pulling through. Hopefully by the time I finish comparisons, this will have dried a bit more and we'll be able to see a bit more of the true color of the sheen. But it does seem to be a bit more of like a deeper olivey toned green even. I do want to do some comparisons just because, so we already know it looks very similar to day one, which was Martian Dust, but let's go ahead and bring my other reds over and see if we have anything that's going to be similar from another brand maybe. I do feel like we may have some good matches from 𝗏𝗏 with this color, just because I feel like they had a green sheening red in an inkvent before. This is 𝗏𝗏's Deep Dark Red, which is honestly pretty darn close, and this ink is fantastic. The sheens are a bit different in color. Deep Dark Red has a bit more of like a golden brown sheen, and Blood Falls does seem to be a bit more of like that olivey green, but Deep Dark Red is great. So if you don't have the Colorverse calendar and you really like this ink, Deep Dark Red is a really great choice. Let's see. This is Spiced Apple, which was a very fan favorite of a 𝗏𝗏 inkvent. I don't think they're very close though, but it is a nice deeper red. This is a nice red with a green sheen on it, like a similar toned green. This is 𝗏𝗏's 𝗏𝗏, another really nice dark colored red. I do think that Blood Falls has a bit more of a brownness to it, and 𝗏𝗏 has a little bit more purple notes. So there's that. It's also kind of similar in base to Bah Humbug by 𝗏𝗏 from the purple inkvent. This was a fantastic ink. I adored this color. It does have a very similar toned green sheen, and I do think the base of Bah Humbug is slightly more purple, and it also has like the really fun shimmery bits going on with that one too. This is Herbin's Rouge Grenat, and I do think they're close in color for the base, but the sheening is a bit different, and to me, the J. Herbin ink is a bit drier than the Colorverse one is. This is Ferris Press's Song of Scarlet. It does have a bunch of shimmer on it, but similar sheen colors, and honestly similar base colors too. The more I look at these, I feel like Blood Falls is different enough from Martian Dust, but I do think they're pretty close. This is Pilot Brown. I think I had this in a cartridge and I squirted it onto this page, so I don't know if we're going to get anything kind of close to this, but maybe, I'm not sure. This is Robert Oster's Blood Moon, which is a fantastic dark ink. It is a bit purplier than Blood Falls, but similar concept of that deep dark red color. Blood Moon does not have the sheen that Blood Falls does have. Sailor Mono's Ume is also very close. I'd say really close, honestly. Sailor Mono's Ume does have a bit more of like a burgundy like shade with it though, and is very well behaved. Blood Falls was really well behaved for me too, so can't complain there. This is Queen of Hearts by Warangel. Fantastic ink. If you haven't tried it, definitely recommend getting a sample of that one. It's also similar in base color and has that kind of weird greenish sheen, but it has gold shimmer, and I think is slightly more purple, just slightly. Warangel's 1984 is also kind of close, but again, a bit more on the purple side, and also has a coppery shimmer. This is the one I was thinking of from the 𝗏𝗏 inkvent. This was from the black inkvent, and this was Sleigh Ride. I really liked this ink, even though it is a very high green sheener. It just behaved beautifully, and I really enjoyed it. It is a brighter version of Blood Falls, and I think the sheen on it is just really strong and vibrant and shiny. So not quite the same, but if you wanted a shinier, sheeny version, there you go. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, that's all I really got. I don't think we're going to have anything in the browns, but I just want to look because I don't know. It does have a slight brown undertone to the ink, and I might have put something in here close to this. I'm not thinking I would have, but it can't hurt to look. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything super close at all. Yeah, I'd definitely say we have a few winners, at least in the reds that are out there if you wanted something similar to this. I also feel like it's very similar to Martian Dust from day one, but not quite the same. here is an up close of the swatch card, so you can see kind of that green olivey sheen just sitting on top. It definitely is an interesting color sheen. I do like that. It makes it a bit more unique. It's almost like a brown red underneath as well, again, like Martian dust, but I do think the sheens are different enough that they are different enough inks, but I think in writing you're going to get the same experience. They're both going to be that deep red color with a slight brown notes, slight oranges. I do think in our watercolor swatch here with the water blooming all over the place, it's definitely red. It's almost like a pink red base too, which is interesting considering it's looking so much more brown and everything else. I'm tempted to see if I can bend the page over so we can look at day one next to this, but I don't know how successful I'm going to be, so bear with me. I can't do the swatches just because of where they're placed on the page, but you will at least get to see the kind of writing next to each other and the different in the watercolor down here. So Martian Dust is a bit more brown red, like a little bit lighter, a little bit more brown, and I do think Blood Falls is a much more red and obviously much more saturated, but if you look in the writing, they are so close in tone. I think you'd have a very similar experience in what color you were going for. So kind of disappointed to see how similar they are, especially in the same calendar, but I'm at least glad it's a little bit of a darker color and has a different sheen. So they're similar but not the same. But I still, if we were getting another red, I would have wanted something maybe shimmery or bright red, maybe not two dark maroony reds in the same calendar. But that's my opinion, my 2 cents. So it is my, yeah, that's what I got. Final thoughts on this. I do enjoy this ink. I think it's very pretty. I do think it is my favorite of the day, but I do think I would have preferred a different color from Colorverse, considering we already had one similar to this in this calendar. Colorverse has been doing really well so far in their inks. I've been very pleased with a lot of the colors. There's like, I think 2 exceptions now. So I'm hopeful this is just another one of those like exception inks, but we shall see. There's still half the calendar left, so we got a ways to go before we get a final vote on which calendar was my personal favorite, at least. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it off here. I hope you guys are doing well. We are 12 days now from Christmas Eve. If you are celebrating, I hope you have your Christmas shopping underway or completed, or at least get a list started. That would make me feel happy if you had a list started. Anyways, I'm gonna wish you guys the best, be blessed, and I hope to see you guys here tomorrow for day 13. Lucky 13, right? Maybe it'll be a lucky 13. I don't know. Bye.